Justin Bieber is set to testify in May, and the details might shatter everything we thought we knew.
I mean, the testimony is key. We're going to have reporters, though, in the courtroom who we're going to see live tweeting of the testimony, recaps at the end of the day. I mean, Harvey Weinstein, that was a state case, but it was in New York, and New York is limited if any cameras are allowed in the courtroom. So it was the same idea. We didn't get to hear the witnesses on the stand, but we got to hear what they said, through the reporting, and that will be what is happening here. So of course, it's maybe not as great for us because, as a viewer, we can't analyze their credibility, let's say, like the juror can, because we can't literally see them testify. We'll be able to hear the content of what they testify. The court may also make public quickly the transcripts of what the witnesses said in order to keep people informed. That's what happened during the Trump criminal trial. They posted the transcripts fairly quickly. So we will get a sense of what is said, but it does take it away when we don't get to see it in the moment and really honestly decide for ourselves what we think of that witness or another witness.
In a case that's already twisting through layers of scandal and secrecy, recent court sessions have taken a jaw-dropping turn. As the judge dropped the news of Bieber's impending testimony, insiders say Diddy's composure crumbled. But what does Bieber have to say? And how does his painful past tie into the web of allegations swirling around one of hip-hop's most iconic figures?
Timing is interesting. I don't want to go so far as to speculate because obviously we don't know what the ins and outs of the investigation are. We don't know what kind of or how frequent contact the federal prosecutors from SDNY are in with the litigators and the attorneys that are handling the case on the civil side. But I don't think it's an unusual practice for criminal investigations to be informed by, sometimes even augmented by, civil litigation and the civil discovery practice. I don't think there's anything inappropriate or unethical about that. Those revelations from the discovery process on the civil side can help inform or help guide a criminal investigation or a decision on the prosecution side as to how to proceed or whether to proceed with the prosecution. So it might be a chicken and egg argument. It might be that the civil investigation started first and then was referred to the federal prosecutors or helped inform the federal prosecutors' decision making, or the other way around. It very well could be that the complainants or the would-be plaintiffs on the civil side weren't quite ready to cooperate with the prosecution or to testify before a grand jury and felt more at ease with pursuing a civil remedy first. So we really can't know until the investigation is revealed.
Good morning. Justin Bieber has a message for his believers. On social media, he shared a heartbreaking message about feeling unworthy, and fans are showing up in the comments section to support.
What if you had it all, but nobody to call?
This morning, Justin Bieber letting his guard down, sharing on his social media feelings of being a fraud, unworthy, and unequipped.
I'm so lonely.
The 31-year-old singer-songwriter and new dad writing, "People told me my whole life, wow, Justin, you deserve that." Adding, "It made me feel sneaky, like, damn, if they only knew my thoughts, how judgmental I am, how selfish I really am, they wouldn't be saying this." These comments come on the heels of a previous post just last month saying, "Changing is about letting go."
Yeah, you got that yummy, that yummy, that yummy, yummy.
A few days later, he was seen participating in an LA charity hockey event, smiling. On Wednesday, the two-time Grammy winner posting a picture seated at the piano, fans flooding his reply section with joy and excitement, hoping for new music. Bieber celebrating his birthday earlier this month with throwback photos as a baby and time with friends, family, his wife Haley, and son Jack, who he welcomed in August. A source tells People magazine earlier this month Justin is prioritizing working on new music and his family and spending as much time with them as he can. And of course, we wish him the absolute best.
In a recent Instagram post, Bieber revealed that his childhood, far from being a fairy tale, was marred by emotional scars that still haunt him today. I was always told when I was a kid not to hate, but it made me feel like I wasn't allowed to have it, and so I didn't tell anyone I've had it, he wrote, exposing the raw vulnerability beneath his public persona. These heartfelt words hint at a tumultuous upbringing, a story that resonates with many who have faced relentless pressure and pain from early fame. Bieber's admission, laced with both anger and sorrow, forces us to question how those long-hidden wounds could resurface now, especially as he steps forward to confront his past in court.
Just days after sharing some candid thoughts, Justin Bieber is opening up once again. In a cryptic Instagram post Sunday, the singer shared his thoughts on feeling hate. Bieber wrote in his Instagram stories, "I was always told when I was a kid not to hate, but it made me feel like I wasn't allowed to have it, and so I didn't tell anyone I've had it, which made me feel like I have been drowning, feeling unsafe to acknowledge it. I think we can only let hate go by first acknowledging it's there. How couldn't we feel hate from all of the hurt we have experienced?" Along with the post, Bieber included SZA's song, "I Hate You." Bieber didn't elaborate any further on what exactly he was referring to, though Monday morning he added another story which read, "If they aren't talking, you must not be going brazy enough." In the hours after his initial post, he did go on to upload several more, including a selfie showing off his tattoos. He also shared nearly a dozen photos of a trip to a Disney amusement park. In several of the pics, Justin is having a good time with wife Haley. The posts come just a few days after sharing with fans that he has always felt unworthy. On March 13th, the singer wrote, "People told me my whole life, 'Wow, Justin, you deserve that,' and I personally have always felt unworthy, like I was a fraud," he began, adding, "Like when people told me I deserved something, it made me feel sneaky, like, damn, if they only knew my thoughts, how judgmental I am, how selfish I really am, they wouldn't be saying this." The 31-year-old went on to share how he feels unqualified most days.
The Biebers burning rubber at the happiest place on earth after a new cryptic message from Justin about struggling with hate.
I'm having a good time.
The singer and his wife Haley are having a good time, all right. Spotted on the Cars ride at Disneyland with Kid Leroy on TikTok. Meanwhile, Justin shared snaps of the group's theme park trip on Instagram, complete with rides, games, and Mickey Mouse ears.
It's the best.
While Justin's feed post was all smiles, his Instagram story telling a different one. Earlier in the day, Justin admitted to feeling like he's drowning, struggling with hate. "I was always told not to hate, but that made me feel like I wasn't allowed to have it. We can only let hate go by first acknowledging it's there. How couldn't we feel hate from all the hurt we have experienced?"
I think it's just my job to be a light.
That story coming just days after Justin shared another introspective IG post, revealing he has felt unequipped, unqualified, and like a fraud. Adding, "I have always felt unworthy. If they only knew my thoughts, how judgmental I am, how selfish I am, they wouldn't be saying this."
I felt like I lost my purpose for a while. I wasn't chasing after who I knew I was. Whether you feel like you don't have a purpose or you feel like you want to find your purpose.
Diddy, who once proudly mentored Bieber during his ascent in the music industry, now finds himself at the center of a storm. Accused of sexually abusing 3 victims over a span of 2 decades, the allegations against him are as staggering as they are chilling. The court has painted a picture of a man who, despite his larger-than-life persona, may have orchestrated a series of predatory acts that have left deep scars on those he once claimed to uplift. When news broke that the judge would be calling Justin Bieber to testify in May, it sent shockwaves through the courtroom, with sources close to Diddy describing his reaction as nothing short of panic. The question now looms large. What secrets from the past is Bieber about to expose that could turn this case on its head?
Listen, I think he should keep maybe not. He should keep some rope on his soul, or make sure he don't drop it in certain places. In case if he do, he might like it. But long story short is that he need to take his counsel advice. Because if he think he's gonna get out of this from the federal government, he out his mind. They in the process of plea bargaining, trying to do a plea bargain session with him, and he's not taking it. That's probably why one of the lawyers jumped off the case. Remember Benjamin Bradford, his first lawyer with the Cassie situation? He said, give her the 10 million and make this go away, brother. He ended up giving her 30 million. He's not taking the lawyer's advice. 9 times out of 10, they probably got him a good plea bargain. Yo, listen to me, we can give you 15 years. 10 or 15 years. You do that, you come out, you only have to do like 12, 13. Come out to a halfway house. You still can live some of your life out as a free man. If you don't believe that they're gonna try to hit him with those guns in there, they saving all that for last. The drugs, the guns. They'll do another superseding indictment and add those two up if he don't take the plea. If he don't take the plea bargain to the sex trafficking or whatever stuff like that, they're gonna say, okay, let's add the guns to it and let's add the drugs to it.
How you feel about Keefe D? He out here crying to come home, man.
Keefe D, I think is a mistravesty of justice that Keefe D is still in jail without a bail, or they're not making his bail low enough for him to go home. For the fact of the matter is that Keefe D was told to say something by an LAPD officer who was writing a book, doing a movie, and making himself rich off of an event that happened in our culture. And that he's in jail because the cops said a lot of these things first, and he just piggybacked on it. But it's gonna come out that was the situation and that was the issue. And he's gonna walk eventually.
So you really believe that he ain't had nothing to do with Pop murder?
I don't believe Keefe D had anything to do with it. Just don't make any sense, brother. It don't make no sense that, you know, what he did and how he did it and how Vegas is at that time, that you could get away with something like that.
Adding another layer to this already explosive saga, the courtroom drama intensifies with the involvement of none other than R&B superstar Usher, once a close confidant and mentee of Diddy during the early days of his meteoric rise. Usher's testimony is expected to delve into the murky depths of their shared history. Their decades-long relationship, rooted in the gritty beginnings of a music empire, may now reveal unsettling truths about what truly went on behind closed doors at infamous parties and secret gatherings. Rumors have long circulated about these events, where extravagance met exploitation, and Usher's first-hand account could illuminate a side of Diddy that many have never seen. Legal experts are buzzing with speculation. If Usher's testimony confirms any of the explosive allegations, it could be the definitive turning point in a trial already brimming with controversy.
Even Usher deleted his Twitter account, deleted it, right? Or took everything down. He deleted a bunch of, I think 7,000 tweets, and then came back a day later and he put... He wrote, account got hacked and damn, y'all ran with it. It's not a secret. I'm tired of everybody playing this game, okay?
Well, actually read the comments on what people said. Let's see what people said, like if they bought it or not.
Okay, yeah.
The old...
Did he hack your butt?
The account got attacked and hacked.
That's the first one. Oh, that's security. Keep going, Robbie. So crazy how it got hacked, but instead of posting crazy stuff, the hacker just deleted your post and Diddy got arrested and all the stuff with Justin Bieber. So weird, we all ran with it, right, bro? Nobody's buying that, dude. So Pat, the majority of these, Pink said the same
That's
thing.
the best one.
Yeah, but guys, but Pink and somebody else, they deleted their stuff a little while back. But Usher, in his own words on the Howard Stern show, like when I tell you guys, these demons hide in plain sight, like Diddy, he said on Howard Stern, Puffy would have his parents send him to Flavor Camp at 13 years old. Your parents are sending you to a camp with a grown man, Pat. I know, I'm around you all the time. I know you're your kids, and I know you trust me, and I love you. Would you ever send your 13, would you send Tico?
Stop it.
Are you freaking nuts? I don't care how famous he is. And in this interview, Rob, you don't have to play. He says, Howard Stern's like, oh, I bet you there was girls and orgies. And he's talking to him as he's 13, and he said, there was very curious things happen. And then you got a video of Usher and Diddy in his bedroom with Kevin Hart, and he's interviewing him. And he said, I would wake up in the morning with Usher in the morning, and then he catches himself.
Wait a minute, he was 14, but he really didn't understand what was going on. When I was 14, I knew exactly everything that was going on. Yo, man, what area you lived in? 14, you don't know what's going on? Think about that, y'all. Think back when you was 14.
Diddy's true colors, it's Usher. The connection between Diddy and Usher runs deep. There have been whispers for a long time that Diddy and Usher were involved in some pretty questionable situations back in the day.
There you go.
Usher even stayed with Diddy as a teenager. And stories from that time are now being re-examined in a much darker light. Some theories suggest that Diddy might have been grooming Usher or exposing him to environments no teen should experience.
His friend and former mentor, Sean Diddy Combs, was arrested on sex trafficking charges. News Nation senior story editor Paula Froelich joins me live with the scoop here. Paula, this sparked some suspicion and really caught a lot of fans' attention. Do you think it was hacked? What's the scoop?
Yeah, I do. Why not? I mean, here's the deal. Usher knows Diddy very well. I would not necessarily call them friends. He's definitely been distancing himself for years and has come out and said, you know what, I lived with him for a year. By the way, note to Usher's mom, you're going to give up your 13-year-old kid to go live with Diddy for a year? WTF. However, she did, and he saw everything, and it was really disturbing.
Meanwhile, as Diddy scrambles to maintain control in the courtroom, his legal team is fighting an uphill battle against a barrage of evidence. Over the past year, federal agents have amassed a staggering collection of electronic devices, amounting to terabytes of data, from Diddy's properties in Miami, Los Angeles, and even a private airport in Florida. This digital trail, filled with text messages, emails, and recordings, paints a picture of an empire built not just on musical genius, but on a pattern of coercion and secrecy. Every piece of evidence adds fuel to the fire, intensifying the pressure on Diddy as he faces charges that range from extortion to sex trafficking. The sheer volume of data has already caused delays in the investigation, leaving both the defense and prosecution in a relentless race against time.
Whatever. That police department specifically said, we looked into it and there was no merit to this situation. So this goes into a different type of level of potential cover-up that's wild, just based upon these allegations. I'm not saying they're true or not true, but the Contra Police Department said, we did get this allegation, we did look into it, and we discounted it and said there was nothing there. Do you know how strong that is for a police department to come in and say that a rape did not happen when someone says it did? So that's fascinating to me, because usually police departments don't do that.
Yeah, so Ashley Parham did file a police report. That is on record. They claim investigate it. I have spoken to them. They said the same thing. We investigated this and it was unfounded. So these things are included in this lawsuit, in the amended lawsuit. They're also included in the original filing. And it only gets more, I don't know what word to use, dramatic. It gets more layered as it goes on, because there's a second half of this amendment with two new plaintiffs, a Jane Doe and a John Doe, who are described as being a mother and son. And it says that, quote, plaintiffs John and Jane Doe met with defendant Diddy, so they previously knew him, through their connection in the music industry, as plaintiff John Doe was a previous plaintiff against Michael Jackson for sexual assault as a minor.
Sean Combs behind bars in New York, facing charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking through force, fraud, or coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution, currently locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center until his trial in May. And we first learned that Combs was likely under investigation when agents with the Department of Homeland Security raided 2 of his houses, one in Los Angeles, the other in Miami. This was back in March of 2024. They brought out boxes and boxes of potential evidence. At the time, Combs hadn't been arrested or charged yet, but just a few months before that, in November of 2023, Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura filed an explosive lawsuit claiming Combs abused her mentally, physically, sexually during their tumultuous 10-year relationship. Combs ended up settling that lawsuit just one day after it was filed for an unknown sum of money, but the damage was already done. Ventura's allegations, they were out there in the public. A wave of other civil lawsuits followed, and then in September of 2024, Combs was officially arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City. His lawyer said he'd come to New York to turn himself in, but the police arrested him a day early. And according to authorities, Combs reportedly being under investigation for criminal behavior hadn't stopped him from allegedly having drugs in his hotel room. And as I said, Combs has been locked up. He's been denied bond ever since. Combs offered up a huge bail package worth millions of dollars, but the government argued there was evidence that Combs was trying to influence, maybe intimidate witnesses, even from behind bars, and having him on house arrest, even with private security, it would be a risk.
Yet, as the trial looms closer, set for May 5th, 2025, the spotlight isn't solely on Diddy's alleged misdeeds. It's also on the broader implications of mentorship gone awry. Bieber's painful recollections of his own troubled past, intertwined with his connection to Diddy, serve as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of young artists in an industry where power dynamics often blur ethical lines. Sources reveal that Bieber has been quietly battling demons since his early days in the limelight, a struggle compounded by a childhood filled with contradictory messages. His honesty about the internal conflict of suppressing anger has resonated with fans worldwide, making his upcoming testimony not just a legal formality, but a symbolic confrontation with the exploitation that has long plagued the entertainment industry.
Justin Bieber is sharing some candid thoughts. In his latest Instagram story, published Thursday, March 13th, the singer detailed how he has always felt unworthy. People told me my whole life, "Wow, Justin, you deserve that." And I personally have always felt unworthy, like I was a fraud. He began, adding, "Like when people told me I deserve something, it made me feel sneaky, like damn, if they only knew my thoughts, how judgmental I am, how selfish I really am, they wouldn't be saying this." The 31-year-old went on to share how he feels unqualified most days, explaining, "I say this all to say, if you feel sneaky, welcome to the club. I definitely feel unequipped and unqualified most days." Justin's Instagram story was accompanied by a trending sound labeled "Sneaky Sneaky." Though some fans have expressed concern about the singer's health over his recent appearance in cryptic social posts, his representatives slammed rumors about alleged drug use, calling the speculation, quote, "exhausting and pitiful" in a statement to TMZ, adding, quote, "Despite the obvious truth, people are committed to keeping negative, salacious, harmful narratives alive." The statement added that the past year has been, quote, "very transformative for him as he ended several close friendships and business relationships that no longer served him."
Justin Bieber on social media, his latest social post, and he has just opened up a little bit more.
He did in a really big way, in a very vulnerable way. Boy, my heart goes out to Justin Bieber. Listen, say what you want. He's such a young kid when he got in this industry, the pressure alone. So he actually posted something very vulnerable about how he feels about himself, about his imposter syndrome. Here's what he had to say. "People told me my whole life, 'Wow, Justin, you deserve that.' And I personally have always felt unworthy, like I was a fraud. Like when people told me I deserved something, it made me feel sneaky. Like, damn, if they only knew my thoughts." He goes on to say that he can be judgmental, that he's selfish, that people wouldn't be saying this if they really knew what was going on in his thoughts. So, oh man, I really do. I have such a bleeding heart for Justin. So over the past couple of weeks, we've talked about this on the show, Jeff, like you were saying. There was concerns about his health, that maybe he was doing drugs. He even had a rep come out and say he's not doing drugs. And then I personally felt like Justin was throwing shade at people making any comments about his health when he was posting pictures of him and a bong, you know? So at once I thought, you know, oh, he's having kind of fun with the news and everything going on. Now he's getting really, really vulnerable. So, I mean, listen, it does seem like he's been going through some things. He's a new dad. Mm-hmm. You know, we hear that he's putting out new music and he's been open about his Christian faith. So
Well, it's also when you are a child star, right?
Yeah.
And what you go through, and are you really prepared for that? I think Shawn Mendes has also been very open about his experiences.
Legal analysts suggest that if Bieber's testimony corroborates the allegations of systemic abuse and exploitation, it could fundamentally undermine Diddy's defense strategy. His credibility, long built on a facade of resilience and success, may begin to crumble under the weight of damning personal revelations. Moreover, the looming prospect of Usher stepping forward only deepens the intrigue. With his own clean image and revered status in the music world, Usher's account could serve as an impartial counterpoint to Diddy's narrative, further isolating the mogul in a courtroom drama that transcends mere celebrity gossip.
Just today we heard from P. Diddy's attorney saying that he is going to testify at the trial, which would be huge news. If in fact he does testify, he would be the star. If the defendant ever testifies, the whole trial really comes down to their testimony, because at the end of the day, how credible is he? And is the jury going to buy his story or not? That's what the trial comes down to, and all the other witnesses become less important. Whether or not that is just posturing on the attorney's side, trying to maybe change the PR narrative around it, or whether or not that will actually happen, we'll wait and see. But the defense attorney is saying that his client is clamoring to testify. He wants to tell a story that is a story of love and heartbreak, clearly trying to change people's opinions around this case. But if he does end up testifying, which really every lawyer would advise against something like that, especially in this kind of a case, but if he does, he will be far and away the witness that the jurors most care about.
They were part of the dinner, and they watched Cassie get abused in front of, Puffy abused Cassie in front of them. And neither one of those men, and they probably security was around too, did nothing to stop what he had did to Cassie. Now that's just crazy right there, bro. That is just crazy. Usher probably got a daughter. Neo probably got kids, I don't know. Jimmy Iovine, he take about 15, 20 scoops of sugar in his coffee. So all those cats there, supposed to be men, watch that lady get abused right there in public, and they did nothing, brother. They did nothing. That goes to show you the power that he had mentally over them. Here go a woman witnesses, and this witnessing it and said, they said nothing. Yo, man, stop, don't do that. Yo, not here, bro. Easy, nothing. Don't do nothing, say something. She said they didn't do anything and they didn't say nothing.
In this high-stakes courtroom drama, the answer remains shrouded in uncertainty. Yet one thing is clear: the revelation that Justin Bieber will testify in May has ignited a spark that could set off a chain reaction, leaving Diddy scrambling in a race against time. As viewers, we are left on the edge of our seats, questioning what hidden truths will be laid bare, and how the ripple effects of this testimony might reshape the legacy of an entertainment titan. The truth, as it often does, may be more explosive than any rumor could ever predict. And that is precisely what makes this story one of the most compelling narratives of our time.
Pretty smart that the defense is not waiving their speedy trial rights. I think that there is an overwhelming amount of information we already know. The government is still, I think, trying to decrypt a lot of the, terabytes of information that it received from all of P. Diddy's devices. So the government is going to be kind of like rushing a little bit. I understand that they're still getting subpoenas are being responded to still. So they don't even have all their evidence together yet. And so demanding a speedy trial really is going to force the government to get their act together really fast and not have that additional time. But I think that the government was also smart in not overcomplicating this case by making it much bigger than it needed to be, like for instance, what happened down in, y'all's neck of the woods in Atlanta with the YSL, RICO trial that's going on. So, you've got a much simpler, indictment, 14 pages long, really one identifiable victim, but I think that there's probably others that are contained within it. So we'll see if that May date sticks. If there's superseding indictments, it's probably going to get continued, I would think, because there's just, that would automatically cause that to happen.
Yeah, that takes me to my next question. Krista, we heard from Emanuela that there could be these superseding indictments filed. What do you expect those to be, and what effect will it have on the possibility that this trial may go in May of next year?
Well, I think that the superseding indictments, I don't know if they'll necessarily be new charges against P. Diddy, maybe, or, maybe more identifiable victims, but I think that you're also going to maybe potentially see some co-conspirators that are identified that...
Will Bieber's explosive revelations finally shatter the facade of power? Or is Diddy's courtroom scramble just another desperate bid to deflect the mounting pressure? Is this the missing piece in hip-hop's most twisted scandal? Or merely the latest move in a dangerous game of secrets and influence? If you want to stay ahead of every twist and turn in this unfolding drama, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because the truth is coming, and you won't want to miss a moment.